Hi everyone. Today I'll be talking about this research paper from 2017. Structure Matters, 21 Teaching Strategies to Promote Student Engagement and Cultivate Classroom Equity by Kimberly D. Tanner. I am a TA for undergraduate operating systems class, and the reason why I would TA for this class is because I love the professor's teaching style when I took the course with him last year. Going into this class knowing nothing about it and coming out feeling empowered by the subject. I've always been thinking about how he can make the class and the subject so intriguing and interesting, and realized that it's the structure that he employed in his classroom. In this paper, Kimberly talks about the 4 main categories of teaching strategies that can promote student engagement and cultivate classroom equity. Here are the main strategies. Giving students opportunities to think and talk about subject, encouraging and actively managing students' participation, building an inclusive and fair learning environment for all students, and monitoring behavior to cultivate divergent thinking. And we'll get into more details of these 4 strategies. First, giving students opportunities to think and talk about subject. In this paper, quotes, "We as instructors can be misled that all students have had ample time to think by those few students in our courses who have more background in the concepts under discussion and raises their hands to share almost immediately. However, not all students came from the same background. These are 2 techniques that I found most useful to give students opportunities to think and talk about subject. Think, pair, share, and wait time. Think, pair, share. This strategy, we should give students a minute to think about their ideas. We can have them talk to neighboring students, compare ideas, and identify points of agreement or disagreement. One key is that we need to be explicit that students need not agree, and also convey that practicing talking about class material ideas is an essential part of learning about the subject. Wait time. Study shows that on average, teachers wait about 1.5 seconds between questions and answers. They prove that increasing from 1.5 seconds to 3 to 5 seconds will get more students to participate as well as enhance the quality of the answers. The benefits of this increase is to promote student engagement and participation, allows critical neural processing time for students, allows more introverted students time to rally their courage to volunteer and answer. The second main strategy is encouraging and actively managing students' participation. In order for students to learn well, it is important for them to construct ideas by themselves. But currently, many students could go by their classes without speaking aloud in them, as most of them are uncomfortable answering questions or sharing ideas. This results in many students not proactively thinking about new ideas, as they do not need to speak up in class. To promote student participation, instructors could encourage by using these 2 techniques: hand raising and multiple hands, multiple voices. Hand raising. This will provide greater access to more students than an open, unregulated discussion. With hand raising, the instructor can also be explicit about asking for hands from those of us who haven't had a chance yet to share, which will cultivate a classroom conversation that goes beyond a few students in the front row. Multiple hands, multiple voice. Instructors tend to call on one person to answer a question. This can lead to the same students repeating sharing ideas. So by multiple hands, multiple voice, we can broaden participation and increase breadth of ideas. For example, instructors can set the stage for this by saying, "I'm going to pose a question, and I'd like to see at least 3 hands of colleagues here who would share their ideas. I won't hear from anyone until I've got those 3 volunteers." The last 2 main categories are building an inclusive and fair learning environment for all students, and monitoring behavior to cultivate divergent thinking. You can use the following techniques to build an inclusive environment for students. Work in stations or small groups, use varied active learning strategies, and be explicit about promoting access and equity for all students. It's good to always mix and match different strategies because for each strategy, some students will be out of their comfort zone, and some students will be in their comfort zones. Since every student learns differently, it is best to change up the strategies from time to time. Be explicit about promoting access and equity for all students. Teachers should emphasize on access, fairness, and classroom equity being one of their key goals. We can also explain why we use the strategy that we use so they can understand better. Last but not the least, monitoring behavior to cultivate divergent thinking. We can use the following techniques. Do not judge responses, use praise with caution, and establish classroom community norms. Oftentimes, in response to those students who share answers publicly, instructors will subconsciously praise those students and say things like, "Fabulous answer, exactly, that's perfect." This may lead to the rest of the students who are not participating that the response given was so wonderful that it is impossible to build on or exceed. Additionally, in a short period of time, these few students who are willing to participate early in the discussion will become high status in the classroom, those who have obtained the instructor's praise. Lastly, we can establish classroom community norms by encouraging students to participate, as well as building a supportive community in the classroom. So in conclusion, you can think about a time when you felt enlightened after a professor taught a lecture or a subject. How did the professor catch your attention? And which teaching strategies that I went over did he or she employ? And lastly, what can you take away to utilize the teaching strategies in your own teaching style to provide a better learning environment? This is my presentation. Thank you.